15 seconds in.
Push the TV cam. It's like sitting back for some reason.
Hey, we're live.
Slow moving operation. Uh-oh. This is not starting well.
Fast, guys.
How far? That's as far as it's going, bud.
What the hell?
Something's in the way.
Key to being a better steelhead fisherman is to have steelhead in your area. It does. Time on the water is probably the number one tip we'll talk about tonight. What's going on, guys?
Hello, everybody.
What's up? What's What do you guys think they'll do for sliding floats? That's a good question, Alejandro. Oh, Sharon says hi. Hey.
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 Sherwood, Oregon.
How is everybody doing tonight?
Robzilla in the house. Robzilla.
Oh, oh, oh.
Robzilla in the house. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Happy to have you all today. You're sitting in a room full of tired, grumpy men tonight. Maybe you actually seem pretty chipper. You got to be tired too. I'm exhausted. I drove 3.5 hours back.
That's
from...
what. Drink a Red Bull at like 7 o'clock at night, and I don't drink these ever. So
yes,
I got stuff to do.
We're perking up to talk about some
No
tactics.
one feels bad for you that you got.
I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just saying Marlon's grumpy, so
always.
No one feels bad for you.
Always grumpy.
Give me that.
He's triggered, everybody. He's triggered.
Oh, no one feels bad for you. Took this guy fishing 3 days, and I couldn't get him out of bed on the 4th. He had to go fishing with his buddies. Nothing. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna give you a hard time tonight.
Pity party
okay,
again.
you don't need it.
Pity party for Jordan again.
He ain't waking up 20 days in a row.
No, we all know that. It's been an awesome couple of weeks though. There's a lot of fish around. Cameron's hitting species. I'm hitting species. Marlon's catching species. It's just been fun fishing in this winter weather. It's been a good change up.
Adventure.
Yes.
Adventure.
Every day.
Every day
is something new.
Might be an adventure tomorrow morning.
Are you going to make it? Are you going to catch fish? Those are about the same question.
Yeah. If you do make it, you end up catching fish.
Yes. And you kind of are alone, too.
Yeah.
I've noticed. Too. Yes.
Very much so.
I hope everybody is surviving all the winter weather, especially all you people that live in a little bit higher elevations. It seems like you get up away from the Columbia River and you got feet of snow, not just inches at your house. So
I was standing.
All you hillbillies out there.
I was standing in Hood River participating in the sturgeon fishery. They had 24 inches of snow overnight. It started at midnight, and I woke up at 4 a.m. and had to shovel the snow off the top of my boat. And by 8 a.m. it had another 10 inches on top of it. Yeah. It was nuts.
A friend of mine who lives on Mount Hood went from 4-buying into the driveway to parking on the street and walking into the house from here.
That town, good thing it rained like right afterwards and now it didn't start to flood. It's just like, because they would have been so jacked for a while. But it was fun. 17 feet in Tahoe.
Wow. Well, we've been begging for it, especially you guys in California. You've been wanting this weather for a long time.
Right, yeah. Come back to Michigan, says Cliff Huff.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe in April.
Yeah. I had to deal with a couple days of 5 degrees and 17 degrees.
I'm going to go out there this year and catch kings with Kyle for sure.
Oh, I want to go in the summer for sure. I want to go catch a steelhead, a bass, a trophy bass, and a trophy laker all on the same day. That is one of my bucket lists, is to go to the Midwest to catch a steely, a giant bass. Well, they do in the spring. Every year you see them doing it.
Yeah.
So, on the list.
I just want to catch bass.
19 inches at Ravensdale.
Howdy from Roseburg, Southern Oregon in the house. Robzilla's 1-year-old sitting and watching you guys. What's up,
yeah.
Dude. Are steelhead running right now, Kai? No, they're not.
They're swimming.
Gotcha. Walked right into that one, Kyle.
Oh, jeez.
I'm getting some giveaways going for you guys as Cameron's phone continues to ring and he doesn't apparently.
It's on mute. Okay.
Old man problems.
Okay. How do you work this contraption? This big calculator.
All right, guys, we got some Dave's tangle-free stick weights for you tonight. We got some quarter, some 3/8, and some half ounce. These are really, really good for drift fishing, bobber dogging. A lot of uses for these. I like these stick weights a lot. So shout out to Dave's Tangle. small business here in Oregon. And we got a couple rooster tails as well. So if you guys want an opportunity to win some Dave's Tangle Frees and a couple rooster tails, just do us a huge favor and thumbs up the video. Share it out there if you can. Hit that share button. Share it with family, friends, text message people. The YouTube channel continues to grow, which is just so amazing to see. We are at like 252,000 subs now. So, super cool.
2,000 subs already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jump back up.
Jump back up.
All you holiday goers and after Christmas dinners and
Yeah.
sitting watching the old boob tube.
Yeah. And then that last thing, guys, drop a comment and let us know. It looks like we got a little over 400 of you in here right now. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Where is everyone tuning in from today? And don't say Iran, because I know you're not in Iran.
North Korea.
Yeah, there's always a couple Irans, a couple North Koreas, a couple.
Port Alberni. Canada.
Missed a super chat, Clint.
I just got it.
Paul,
Taggart.
if you come to show me how to catch Steelhead River near Sacramento, I'll be sure to bring a camp stove and a full lighter.
There sounds like there's a story.
Yes, no. We're now doing the Jordan Forgot item of the week in each video because it's either silverware or it's a cooking utensil or it's
And then everyone
gas
was giving
and
you
a
crap too
stove
because
or-
you ate the ramen and you made a fork when you could have just ate with chopsticks.
we realized that after the fact. Alex did say something. The other camera guy did say something after that would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
But as we learned on one of our recent fishing experiences, I probably would have used alder and tried to
And
burn.
died.
Yeah, and died.
Not died, but been out of commission for a while.
Been running for the
That's
woods.
right. He taught us that.
Yes.
We got lots of people in California. Shout out to all the Californians tuning in tonight. Washington, Oregon.
Northwest Outfitters.
Thank you for the
$5
super chat,
Thank
brother.
you.
Greetings from Umpqua Valley, Gig Harbor. That's where my sister lives. Nevada.
So tonight, guys, we are going to talk a pretty cool subject tonight because it kind of encompasses a lot of different things from our equipment to technique to basically what we're throwing at them. And we're going to talk a little steelhead, but we always like to have this discussion called the 5%. And because basically there's a reason why when you guys are scrolling the old interwebs there, you see that same son of a gun post the same limit of steelhead every single day. Or a big wild steelhead every single day. And all of a sudden you realize, like, that son of a gun is catching a whole lot more than me. And it's not generally just by luck. And sometimes, yeah, someone has a little private property hole action or whatever. But ultimately, like, there are reasons why the rule of 10% of the anglers do catch 90% of fish. And I think with steelheading, that is utmost true.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We got some cool little ideas and stories to run through. Hopefully giving you guys some tips and tricks on going out there and maybe it'll improve your game a little bit or give you some different insight or different ideas on catching steelheads.
Yes. And it's funny how simple they are.
A
lot of it just revolves around not being lazy.
And paying attention.
Yes. Exactly. Being very aware of your surroundings and whether it's an angler or it's river condition or whether it's the fish itself. So
understanding.
get ready for that giveaway. Are you going to? Perfect. Oh, no. Super chat. Marlon, are you going to the Monster Truck Show? I understand Bigfoot will be there.
No, he won't. He will not be there.
Grave digger.
Was
One
there a
time
monster truck named Bigfoot?
There must be.
Yeah,
Yeah, gotta be.
That went
Oh,
right
so
over
I can't.
Cam's
You're
head.
old
I know.
enough to know that.
That went right over
I am?
Cam's head.
Yeah, you're as old as me.
You're older, bud.
When I was a kid, they brought the Gravedigger came to their grade school because we won some canned food drive or something. Like they pulled it up on this giant trailer, and it was like highlighted my childhood. Gravedigger, right
Monster trucks are pretty badass.
there, right there at Sandy Grade School.
Danny Duncan is a YouTuber that I watch, and he just had a monster truck come to his property, and he drove it around. It was pretty hilarious.
We're getting
And I
on a
did
tangent
front
here.
flip in it.
One YouTube channel I really like is that Whistling Diesel. He does some pretty funny stuff, and he's a
Did you
genius
see-
on YouTube.
Did you
you see
see
the
Genius.
Yeah, I can't believe I watched a YouTube video. I saw that one.
That was epic, dude. He shows up at the dude's house and he's like,
Orange in 20 minutes?
Yeah. Matthew Sakwa, Fishing the Odds collab, please.
yeah, I know. I fail on that one. I got to hit him up. We've talked about it a bunch. We need to do that for sure. We will get with Fishing the Odds. We need to do it.
Best quirky color.
Yeah, see, everyone knows who Whistling
Flash.
Diesel is.
Just kidding.
Everyone knows who Whistling Diesel is. Yeah, YouTube is pushing that video to everyone. That video is getting a ton of views.
Even the guy that got, well, even the guy that got busted is like, I watch you all the time. That whole thing was, you gotta watch it. There you go. Whistling
He was
Diesel.
way too
Whistling
nice.
Diesel, you guys all need to message him. We'll catch him at Steelhead if he ever wants to come here. There you go. There's a
Favorite?
couple super chats from Rochester, New York. Here, do you guys plan to do any more Great Lakes trips soon? Emilio, I don't know about soon is in the equation, but absolutely. Like,
Yeah, we'll be out there probably a couple times this year. We'll probably be out there a couple times this year. That's the plan. So stay tuned. We can finally get back into traveling a little bit more now.
I get it. I
Depends
get
on
it.
what state.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. Sorry.
More Pop Off. Ryan, why doesn't everyone go to Pop Off right now? Go to Pop Off on Facebook, every single person that's watching right now, and say, we want more Pop Off on the live feeds.
And we invite Nick every single week, guys. If Nick wanted to be in here, I would be more than happy to be gone. So I can tell you right now, like,
Obviously, he doesn't
Nick
wanna
can
be.
be here every single week.
Every single one of you, go message Nick right now and tell
So-
him we want more Pop Off on the live feeds and more Pop Off on the YouTube channel.
I like it. Pop off.
Pop Off. Michigan trout in April. Sounds fun.
Yeah. It all sounds fun.
Well, let's just
Never a
giveaway
bad
out the door and
Yeah,
talk
let's
some
pick this giveaway.
big guy tactics.
Let's pick this first giveaway here. And we do got a couple more giveaways throughout the night, guys, so stay tuned. Who do we got here? Daniel on YouTube. He says 340 views. Oh, yeah, see, he's trying to
Yeah,
get people
he's
to
trying to get
like
a thumbs up on YouTube.
Appreciate it, Daniel. Appreciate
There you
it. Anyway, Daniel, shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your name, your address, and let us know that you
Message them.
won the Dave's Tangle Free and the Rooster Tails. It's always funny because Nick will text me because he'll be all of a sudden he'll just start getting a bunch of messages.
It works good. We need a Big Dave and Pop Off takeover. Sounds good, Tim. Get him in here. Let's do it. We should just let them just like run it one night.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to the antics of those two.
We've been talking about doing a Big Dave and a Pop Off YouTube channel, so maybe that might happen.
There you go.
Maybe that might happen.
I'll see. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Nick's slogan.
What's his slogan?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay fishy. Stay tuned.
Stay
Welcome
tuned.
to Bonkington.
Caught my first drift boat today. Man, congratulations.
Oh.
That is a big moment in a man's life right there, or a woman's.
That's how it starts.
In any fisherman's life. That is so awesome. Well done, man.
Good thing about that drift boat to watch all your buddies catch fish, huh?
Exactly.
Do steelhead like garlic? What do you think?
That's a great question. I think more, yes. Why not?
Trout love it. Why wouldn't steelhead?
Mhm. Salmon love it.
I can't say I've ever used it.
No, I think it's a little bit of I think I've heard Steve
Thank you for
Lynch
the super chat, buddy.
and Jason multiple.
Chilling in Amsterdam.
Ooh.
Where's Tiny?
Oh, we got pounds.
I was saying, is that pounds?
Uh-huh. Must be.
He says, "Where's Tiny the dog?"
Tiny the boy is at home sleeping. I didn't want to make him. He's actually not allowed due to the landlord restrictions. He's not allowed in the studio here, so only we sneak him in sometimes. But tonight he had a big day.
Yeah,
He's
big
sleeping. He's nuts up.
Anyway, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. We've been noticing a lot more of you guys around the world following our channel, and we appreciate it so much.
It's euros.
We've been seeing the worldwide audience grow, and it's super, super cool. So thank you to all you people out there that aren't in the U.S. Appreciate you.
That kind of goes into the garlic question. Back to that kind of goes into
Yeah.
a big part of what we're going to talk about in this live feed, and it is scent in general is a big advantage. I've heard Steve Lynch and Jason both talk about garlic in warm water situations, not so much super cold water situations, but a fish is a fish and scent is scent.
Yeah, but think about the hatchery stock trout.
I was just gonna say,
we're fishing those on the stalker days when it's super cold. They love garlic.
Yeah.
I'll say I just hate smelling it all day, so that's why I don't.
Have
use
you
it.
ever tried it on steelhead?
I can't say I have.
I can't say I have either.
You're gonna have to start putting a little garlic clove.
We
in
might
your
have to
flawn.
film it, dude. Maybe that's a challenge. Maybe that's a challenge. We're gonna have to just go out all day and just
fish
use
on
garlic.
vegetables?
One of us fishes a garlic bead, and the other one just fishes a plain bead like all day. And same color bead, same color.
Well, just like carve
and
one.
just-
I'll whittle one out of a big
We need
clove.
your little
Make a
Yoshi
bead out of a
bead.
out of a freaking thing of garlic. Make sure it's on a river where you can fish bait.
No,
Yeah, that's
no
fine.
joke. It has scent and
Yeah.
it's neat.
Yeah. Oh, there's a good. That'll talk about that real quick, Jordan. Let's announce it to the live people. I see the question from Benny right there.
Excuse me, yawning. What was the question? When does Fishy come? When can I learn to read? Tonight on Addicted live feed. It came out last night, you guys.
Give them the whole spiel.
So we are starting a second channel, not just a new one. We're not breaking away. We're still doing everything the same we have here at Addicted, but me and Little are doing a little more kind of breakaway style of YouTube channel. It's called Stay Fishy Adventures. And I was trying to find it today because Marlon just posted it. There's 600 subscribers already, so thank you to all who subscribed last night after that Addicted video came out. But there's no videos on it yet. We're currently filming. We're getting a little stockpile of these videos so that we can be caught up along with all the other travels and the
The
sportsman
first
shows, everything we have
video,
coming out.
the first video will launch January 26th.
Yep.
So go over there onto the Stay Fishy channel, hit the subscribe button, and
How did
turn
someone
on the
find
bell.
This? Okay,
I couldn't find it in YouTube. You have to click on last night's video. So the I used my boat to sled down the hill, and in the first link in the description is the Stay Fishy channel.
But I'm gonna send you the
But
link,
I tried
and
to
then
look
you
it
can
up just on the
there we
search toggle on YouTube, and it wasn't. What'd you say? What'd you call it? What was the?
It's not
$5
indexed
word?
yet.
Indexed. It's not indexed on YouTube yet because it is brand new. So the channel trailer will be up. Hopefully, Sean's at home working on it right now. We've been out of town for 2 days, so we scolded him last night for not having it done. But there will be a little bit of a hint on there, a little channel trailer that you guys can watch as of the next 2 days to kind of see more of that content. But the motto of the new channel mainly is going to be more evolved around adventure, around travel, around culture, food, and then fishing last. Fishing is going to be why we're going to these areas, but it's not going to be a fishing show like you see us tend to do quite a bit on YouTube on our Addicted channel, where we're really having to portray our products and take care of our sponsors and do a lot of our obligations that we do with Addicted Fishing. It's going to be more of the background and what happens on our travels and what happens on and off the river.
The whole idea of the new channel, guys, is to we want to show you guys more of just the full adventures of all the travel, the people that we meet, it's going to be a lot more adventure style. If you guys have seen some of our videos, like where Jordan goes to Hell's Canyon, or where Jordan went to go to the brown trout fishery this year in Wisconsin, a lot of the videos will be like that.
Yeah. A little more theatrical. We will still go to the vlog stuff because, of course, we won't be able to travel a ton. But it's just going to be a little more, honestly, of what YouTube wants.
It's going to be more raw.
Yes.
It's going to be more raw. Let's just say that. It's going to be more raw. You guys are going to love it. We're super excited about it. But I want to say one thing out there. If you guys are not going to watch the videos, then do not subscribe. We would rather you not subscribe than subscribe just because we're asking you to. If you truly want to watch the videos that are on the channel and you guys want to go enjoy this Stay Fishy channel, then subscribe, turn on the little bell notification, and stay tuned for the first episode, January 26th.
And the first one
is badass.
It really appeals to the Addicted audience. It is a steelhead video, but it's really cool. Some really fun stuff goes down. And we do some great recipes.
Yeah, you guys, there's going to be a lot of catching
I am
hooks
your
on there.
668th subscriber.
It's gone up 160.
Unsubscribe. We know you're not going to watch it.
That is actually true.
It's
So
true.
That is so true.
Yeah, anyway, guys, it's going to have a lot of camping, a lot of truck camping, a lot of bushcraft stuff. That, you guys are going to love it. We're super excited about it. It's going to be more just about everything outdoors.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the stuff that we've just seen you guys love on the Addicted channel as of late, So, and just like Jordan said, nothing is going to change on the Addicted channel. We're still going to be making videos on there. It's probably going to have a lot more videos with me and Cam and Popoff and Jordan still in the mix. So, nothing will change on the Addicted channel. Everything will stay forward going there. We put videos out on the Addicted YouTube channel every single Tuesday and every single Sunday. So 2 videos a week on the Addicted channel on Tuesdays and on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. So
can you post? I saw you just do that, Clint. Can you post that link on the screen? Do that.
that's it.
I think they can't click it on the screen.
You
If
can't
they
click
do.
it, but
Yeah.
I
Oh.
can see it, but I'm
In-
posting
Copy
it.
and paste it.
In the comment. Oh,
I'm posting it in YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
In a second.
And we
for
appreciate
Addicted
it big
Fishing's
time,
comments,
guys.
And Brady Taylor, I'm glad you got nothing. What's up? Happy New Year, bro. See you this weekend, I'd have to imagine. Maybe. Chat at me, bro.
Watching you guys learn to catch steelhead on the center pin would be awesome.
Well, one of us has done it.
I've done it.
This
for
is the year,
I've done
though.
it for like 5 years.
I
Caught
need to-
27,000 fish.
I need to get one we need to get one for this winter.
Dude,
It's the winter
you know what? I need to
like-
get one because it was pretty
We're
fun.
sticking them on worms and stuff. Already,
was
we
pretty
got it.
fun.
We might have to
I
do it.
really need to do that. And I was actually bummed when Jason and I went and filmed an episode a little bit for Coho that he brought one. I didn't. I'm like, why'd you bring me one, man? Sorry. Yeah. No, we need to-
So Little Wig, the golden ticket drawing and giveaway will be next Wednesday. We will be drawing the winners live on the live feed next Wednesday.
I am.
Stay tuned.
Another
So,
golden ticket?
It's just the one. We're drawing the winners.
Oh, okay.
So next Wednesday, we'll be drawing the winners for the golden ticket contest that we did this year. And thank you so much to everyone that placed orders on the website in the month of December. It was insane. You guys flooded us with orders, and we really appreciate it. 721 subs. Let's see if we can get that thing to 1,000 subs. Let's get the Stay Fishy channel to 1,000 subs.
And Dale, no, I haven't rescheduled one. We've fished every day, so plan on it. And that is all.
Kyle is doing Robert, thank you for the super chat. Kyle from XXL Chrome is doing a Great Lakes Steelhead tour. That's a great idea. Maybe we're going to have to link up with him while he's on that little voyage.
Did you get that super chat, Clint?
I missed
Catch
like
a
reading part
steelhead
of
in
it.
every lake. Do they have steelheads in every lake?
Yeah.
There you go.
I do believe so.
I challenge Jordan to
Scroll
catch a
up.
steelhead in every state that has steelhead. That would be a sick
Scroll up,
video
Ooh,
series.
would.
Scroll up just real fast.
Well, I sent you that trout challenge.
I want to do that.
One more.
Going down south?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway,
Yeah,
go down.
that has to happen. Just the scenery even.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we got some collabs. We got some more collabs coming with Kyle. We're actually going to link up with him at the end of January, so
Yes.
stay tuned for that. We're gonna go do some stuff with Kyle here at the end of January.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Quit yawning. All right, let's get on to
you-
steelhead.
Ivermectin
Yeah,
worked
Gaffney,
for
you should ask
steelhead.
Losi that.
Landon, we will not be having any merch for Jordan's channel anytime soon. We're gonna put a lot of videos out, put a lot of content out before we do any of that kind of
So
stuff.
we already have Stay Fishy stuff on the site, though.
It's sold out.
Never mind. Sorry.
That was for a limited drop.
Oh, that's gone.
We still probably still have some hats, I think. We still have some Stay Fishy hats.
Yeah.
Well, shall we?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's-
we already
Let's
give the
talk
one
about
giveaway a go. So let's just go down the line. What, in a few words, do you think? And I've said this a lot about. I think steelhead is a very intricate, like, niche of fishing that you find this to be true. But a lot of people, and I say this a lot about salmon and steelhead and trout and fishermen, just fishermen in general. A lot of people that you know that you would claim to be the best fishermen that you know didn't necessarily just gradually get there. They were born with that sort of mindset and that eagerness to figure those kind of things out. There's certain things that I could never be good at, that you could never be good at, but you were born with the ability to think in a fishy way. And you know what I mean? Like, you're born to be able to see water currents and find fish and kind of tap into that other level of fishing that kind of sets you above and beyond. But if you aren't that person and you're just learning and you are, slowly graduating up in, skill set of steelhead fishing in general, there are a few things that will make you that much better. And what do you think those few things are? Like what is a couple, like what do you think really makes an excellent
That was such
fisherman?
a long intro to get to that question.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like some steelhead fish, like Cameron, you can't just all of a sudden try
you know
really
what,
hard
you
and
know
be
what,
Cameron.
you know what,
what I mean? Like that's
right.
my point in saying that. Some
I think you
steelhead
can.
fishermen.
I think you can, and I think by telling people that you can't, you're like just shitting on a little kid's dream out there.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
I think anybody can do it, but I think the first thing you're going to want to do...
If you want to be Michael Jordan, you can be Michael Jordan. If you want to be
If you're
Cameron
not-
Black, you can be Cameron Black.
Okay, well then you tell me. Then you go ahead and start.
Not addicted. Thank you for the $99 super chat. I challenge you to use an ice rod to catch a halibut. You guys rock, and I have faith.
Be sweet.
We're going to have to find some... I just don't know where we can
go
catch
with that
it.
guy from the
We
bank.
got to catch halibut, though, where it's probably shallower water than 800 feet like we have around here, or 500 feet, because I don't think you can get 500 feet of line on an ice rod.
That's true.
But throw us some tips, maybe. Figure it out. Thank you for the super chat. We do
Yeah,
appreciate
we
it.
really appreciate it, man.
No, I think you can, but I think to start more than anything, I know, and this sounds stupid, and here's it, is the time on the water aspect. The more time you spend, the more variables you see, understanding that, because I was going to say time on the water first, and then making sure you're fishing in a target-rich environment second. Because if you're fishing,
That's what I was going to say. You can't say two. Jordan asked for one thing. You just took two.
You use the time on the water to figure out if you're fishing in a target-rich environment, and then you go from there. Because there's a million dudes.
There's a lot of things you can do, though, up to that point to know if you're fishing in a target-rich environment.
Right.
Before you even go.
Before you even go.
Yeah.
And those are?
Well, the internet. The internet's a great tool. I think it's one of the best tools that any angler has gotten in the last 100 years. Because you can accomplish so much from using your phone and the internet before you even go to the water.
Right.
And how I learned to steelhead fish originally was doing a lot of that. Reading articles, reading books, reading magazines.
Yeah, I mean, someone doesn't just go down the river and then just catches a steelhead. Generally, they have to hear about it or see it somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See it in a video, hear about it from a kid at school, whatever it is. Start figuring it out from there.
Yeah, and then you have a lot of guys that just get born into it.
Right.
You know, like Layden will just naturally, because he's grown up around fishing his whole life.
Oh, then wasn't that kind of what I was saying?
No, you told Cameron.
Some people are born with better opportunity to be a great fisherman by where they grow up, the way they're raised, like what they're around. Where some people come into it and they're 35 years old and they're going to get as good as Cameron or a professional fisherman is in a length of 3 years. It's like impossible. You know what I mean? It takes so much time and effort and repetitiveness. You can stand at the same hole and cast 300 times and not catch one. So what's the effort really mean there?
I just don't think steelhead. I think a lot of times, especially steelheaders in general, put steelhead on a pedestal like it's the hardest thing in the world to do, and I don't think it's really that hard to figure out.
I think they're some of the easiest fish to catch.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that someone absolutely could start this year steelhead fishing, and in 3 years be as good at Cameron.
My point was, what makes the people the 10%, the 10% of the 90 that catch the most? A good 5% of them are just they were kind of born damn good fishermen.
But stop. Too.
You know what I mean?
My point is that you say that 3 years, but okay, is he on the water every single day on all 3 of those seasons to where you understand all the variables and understand what fish do and what fish move, or did he just go like twice a year for 3 years?
Right.
That's where.
No, he'd have to put in the effort.
You have to put in the time. Like no matter how much internet research, addicted videos, whatever you have to watch, you have to figure out how to apply it on the water. That's why I say time on the water, because a lot of people, and I'll say we make some pretty damn good tutorials and some pretty damn good videos, but a lot of people will watch like a video and be like, oh, pink worm or whatever, and get a fixed float and this, and go to a giant river and cast that pink worm and like not have any clue, like there's no chance of catching fish.
Yeah.
So I think that what we're talking about kind of rolls in like what Brad said, and it is more about confidence. Like pick one technique, cover water, second guessing cripples beginners. And I think that's exactly right.
That's so true.
Learn a good method. Learn a technique that you know you're fishing right.
You don't learn the technique unless you're in a target environment. Why I say that? Because a lot of people, like I've seen people on the river fishing like a hole, and they'll be fishing one thing, and then I'll go by them 4 hours later, and they're still fishing. They changed it up. Chances are what they were using was right, but to establish that, okay, I was fishing in front of a fish, first off, something that's going to bite my line. But if they weren't, it doesn't matter what you throw at them. And what they might have done first when they learned from that addictive video and gone down to the river and fished might have been what it was. But since they didn't catch one, they're like, oh, I got to switch it up. And they got to switch it up. And they're just blasting water that's
One time I'll switch up
It's
is
still
once I already hooked one. Can you say that a lot too? Unless it's midday.
Well, yeah,
The only time you'll switch
pressure.
is if you hooked one in a hole.
Pressure.
We do that. I think we do that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that a lot of anglers don't do. They feel like, they fish the hole out, they use what they use, and then they don't switch to anything else. There could be more fish in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened so many times to us.
Yeah.
Especially if you know it's got a lot of fish in there.
So that confidence and that time on the water is obviously imperative.
Yep.
You're not going to
Number
become
one.
a better fisherman or a top percentage fisherman unless you do so, unless you let go of some responsibilities at home and show up a little late for work a couple times because you were out fishing. And just being that diehard angler is going to make you ultimately have more success and catch more fish and help you learn while you're out there.
Yeah.
But there are some go ahead.
No, keep going.
But there are some definite things that you can add to those techniques and add to that mentality that is going to help even if you aren't using the right thing. So it kind of goes into baits and scents. And
I'll give you a perfect example of what we're talking about right here. We had a guy come up to me and you on the river and say, I just started salmon fishing last year, and I watched your videos, and I caught 85 salmon this year. Do you remember that guy? He came up to us on the bank. That is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Of course, you're not going to be the legend, but it's pretty damn easy to get out there and catch fish if you put the time in on the water.
But what if
In my first year of steelhead fishing, I probably fished every day for 4 or 5 months straight. Every single day I would go. In the morning, in the night, every opportunity that I got. If you go out and do that and dedicate the time, I promise you can get really, really good at fishing.
What if that guy who caught the 85 salmon decided to pick up salmon fishing in August in his river when there was
You've already
no
proved
salmon
this.
there?
We already understand that.
Right. So I'm just saying, so you gotta be careful. Like there is you definitely have to put yourself in the you have to put yourself in the scenario to be able to be able to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
What you're
success
saying
for you
is
is catch fish.
you won't be the legend, but you can be better than the legend.
You
Is
can.
that what you're just saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Clint, how
Do
many
your homework
steelhead have
and
you caught?
Do your homework and put your time in, kids.
Clint, that's a gotcha. How many times have you gone winter steelhead fishing?
Oh, I don't know actually.
Can I just,
10
like,
plus?
Do you want to just buy him a trip and I'll just book him a date and we'll
6?
just get this?
You said you were going to do that last year.
I know, but I never did. Because
Clint's gone at least 5 or 6 times and hasn't caught one yet, and it's just sad. We need to get him out on.
but he also went.
But
like,
again, that's a perfect example. You can't expect to go 5 or 6 times.
and he also went on a day where like everybody in the boat like hooked and caught landed.
That was weird.
multiple fish and he never got.
That was weird.
I did hook one now.
Yeah, you know.
I'm not used
Probably,
It's debatable.
probably
It's
the
debatable.
Oh, they're
motor.
leaving. Clint's leaving.
yeah.
Bye. See ya. Okay, good.
Okay.
Is Little available for guiding yet?
I know, right?
Yeah. He might lead you right to like start looking at the hole like fishing.
He does. But
Hey, you guys, we're gonna be doing at the Addicted Alaska premieres. We got a photo booth set up for Little. It's $100 a picture with it.
I gotta get him a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I'm getting him a tuxedo.
Oh look, Clint's back, everybody.
Rage quit, Clint.
Oh dang it, he's back. Clint Laurie is the most valuable man ever addicted.
Oh, here we
The
go.
only person to ever say that ever for the last 3
I'm
years
gonna
is
make
Sal.
that my new.
It's Sal. Was it Sal? Oh yeah.
All right, a couple of things too, and one of the guys said, learn how to fish and not fish a spot. And I think
I wonder where he got that motto.
Right. No, well, he's like, Cam said something like that, and I think that is very, very true. Because if you pigeonhole yourself into fishing one spot, one seam line, and yeah, you do well when fish are there, but then when you try to go somewhere else and you don't know how to apply kind of like that kind of thinking and trying to put the pieces together, like outside your plan A, this is where I've got to go to catch steelhead, well then you're lost. And I think there's a huge percentage of steelheaders that are like that can't just get dropped on a river anywhere and be like, figure it out, boys. And those are the ones that usually get butt hurt the most.
It's
True.
hard to get Clint a fish.
And for those that don't know, Clint went with Patrick after he was a slayer. He hooked like 30 steelhead that day and never got Clint fish.
We did. That was an epic episode. I think we put like 13 fish to the boat. And
I'm glad we didn't count all of them.
Yeah, I'm glad nobody was counting, Marlon. I'm pretty sure it's 14.
Liam, that's going to be one of my talking points here in a minute when we get there. That's a good question.
Well, let's hop back into it then. List off some of these that you got
So,
here.
like, time on the water, target-rich environment, learning how to fish, and not just fish a spot. So, like, that, to me, that's probably... To being an all-around angler that can go, like I said, anywhere, just like you traveling around. I mean, you can drop you anywhere and be like, you'd probably be like, yeah, give me a little bit here. I'll figure it out. Like big water, little water,
Naked and
water.
Afraid for steelhead.
What's that?
Naked with a rod. We'll call it Naked with a Rod. You just drop me off.
How many
in the
people?
wilderness.
Why isn't that going to be on Steak
Naked
Fishing
and Afraid.
Adventures?
We might have to. We've been talking about Marlon dropped me off somewhere with a backpack for a long time. See you in 2 days.
Meet me here. This is your extraction point.
Yep.
Here's a satellite phone. If you turn it on without an emergency, you lose.
But I agree. There's a big. I think when you have reached that level of being very happy with yourself as an angler, when you can take that knowledge, and a lot of it, obviously, as we talk about, is reading water. It has nothing to do with what you're putting on the end of your line, everybody. It sure can help, but a lot of it comes down to that visual aspect of steelhead fishing, where a lot of times we're fishing,
I was gonna bring that up as one of the points that, like, you really to be an extra 5%, you have to get really good at reading.
That is just it. That is another human sort of skill. It's like something that has taken me 15 years of whitewater rafting and guiding to have the kind of confidence I do, and to be able to go to different places and read and not just effectively run water, but read water as to where fish would want to be in it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you can't do that in any other kind of fishing other than salmon, trout, and steelhead. Bass, of course, there's a log, there's structure, cool. But you don't have that moving component, which is very hard for anglers to learn, because that's a big thing. Like having that moving. True.
And one thing, if you're new and you're just getting started, the best thing someone ever told me is just go find the water that you can walk next to and it's going the same speed as you, and fish that.
Yeah. And there's got to be, I know Bill Herzog's probably written some stuff down, but we've never really done any tutorials on how to effectively read
But a seasoned
water.
angler who's going to go to a river that's like extremely low water conditions, he's not going to probably apply that walking speed. He's going to go find riffle cover and stuff that's probably fast. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
every fish we caught was in walking speed water this weekend, and it was low as hell.
It wasn't.
Oh, it
80 CFS summertime low.
No, but it was clear.
Just saying, like, understanding the variables, like, okay, we're having that kind of blueprint.
I understand that. I'm trying to break it down simpler for people so they can, like, it's really hard to go out there and just understand how to read water.
Exactly.
And so, like, an easy tip, like someone gave me, is just find the speed where it's walking speed water. And a lot of times steelhead love that because they can just sit there and rest.
Yeah.
And if it's low and clear and it's 80 CFS, find the holes that are super deep that are walking speed water.
Mm-hmm.
Or super shallow that have cover.
Yeah, and that works really good too. A lot harder to fish.
Understanding your query.
A lot harder to fish. A lot harder to fish those type of water.
I agree. That's where they're at. So it doesn't matter. You go fish all the other water. You got to fish where the fish are at. You can put the best angler in the world in a mud puddle. You ain't going to catch one.
Give me a Michael Jackson spinner. I'll catch one.
Probably.
Just kidding.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah.
But to go along, let's get away from reading water. Let's get away from all like the real technical stuff, gear wise.
Yeah. So then applying it to the 5%.
Yes.
Well, you touched on it earlier. Scent.
Exactly.
What?
Marlon and Jordan are teaching basic math. Cam is trying to teach advanced calculus.
As usual.
That's because how he operates.
That's why he's
how
the
he
freaking
operates,
legend.
man.
That's why he's the legend,
Yeah.
guys.
That's how you got to give it to everybody here.
That's funny.
But the little things, changing colors, changing sizes, and then a huge one, which you guys are about to really get a schooling on in this next few addicted videos that come out. Scent. Bait. Scent. I don't recommend using, I'm a firm believer. I know Cameron uses a lot of spawnies. I am not a big believer in using globs of eggs and rivers that have wild steelhead. It's kind of like a sacrilegious thing for me. It's not one. I hate using bait. It's freaking
a lot of times
pain
it's
in the
illegal.
ass. Yes,
So.
but if you're using spawnies and stuff, the fish seem to get. You're using very small hooks, and you don't have to get all that bait and all that skein onto a hook, so you don't have to go up in hook size and so on and so forth. But my big belief on it is basically I don't like using any sort of thing that it's going to hurt those fish, but having some sort of prawn, some sort of bait not necessarily eggs. I'm getting at everybody, but having something that offers them the visual asphyxiation and then that scent as well. And you can see it in these videos because there's multiple times that I'm casting, see the fish, I put scent on, I catch the fish. You know, and it's so blatant and obvious what's happening there. That little bit turns them on.
That little extra fire. You got a video somewhere down in the desert fishing summer steelhead marlin, where you waxed these guys. Everyone's fishing the same jigs in the same hole, and you had that little bit of like, what was it, shrimp anise bait wax?
It was crawfish.
Crawfish
Bait wax, the bait stick.
It changed that day. It literally changed that day. We had
What are we doing with this? This is like, I'm not being a Karen, but Clint's like once again trying.
That's probably
serving
Clint's,
up the
that's
beat.
probably Clint's. That's probably Clint's fake account too.
Right. Oh, you go to the new comments and stuff. Anyways,
we got to get a Clint's.
But
Clint steps in with the
but
comic
you want to
relief.
talk about this video where you like mop. I mean, it was what 10-1 to everybody else.
It was annoying.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying, like that's
Got
just a prime example of scent. A lot of times, when applicable and legal, I'll use spawnies or I'll use eggs behind 55 bead guys because they're all fishing bead without a scent, and I'm just fishing bead with a scent.
Or
Same thing.
it could be the opposite, right? Like whenever I fish with Hormson, I swear every single time he fishes behind me, he will hook fish on beads behind me.
Right.
Every single time.
Because that presentation is small, it's subtle.
Yep.
I think the bead presentation is about as natural as you can freaking get.
Yeah, you're right.
And like I said, that extra 5%, that could be it. Sizing it down to where it's that small, that type of color can do it.
Agreed.
See, look at Liam's comment. Exactly.
I didn't see it.
Almost to the top there.
Oh no.
Cam's
I think
doing
I get very convoluted with myself.
He says Cam's doing the best. He's very in depth. I agree.
So that's a good thing to talk about right there, is just getting away from the crowd. I can't count how many times you see guys just kind of posted up in one area where they think like that's where everyone fishes, so that's where you need to be. And sometimes you could go 2 corners down and there's fish there.
But sometimes, right, there is, and then there's sometimes you're going to learn from that, going to seeing what the other anglers are doing. I literally told a client who moved back to the area. He moved to Oklahoma for years and years and years and years. I was talking to him when he booked a steelhead trip, and he lives on the home river. He's like, it's like, is there anywhere I can go get my feet wet now? And I said, you know what? Go to this spot. Check out these guys. Don't just jump into the fray, because when he stopped steelheading 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I mean, they weren't even float fishing, right? So, like, I told him, like, go check it out. Just check it. Start watching it. Figure it out before you jump into the fray, and you'll get a little bit of an idea what we're going to be doing on the rafting trip we're going to go on. You learn from other anglers taking those Saturday morning drives. You'll learn those locations where fish are more than anything else.
Yeah. Plus, it's just kind of fun to watch sometimes too, especially if there's a bite on. That's a lot of
Sometimes
moving
it's
parts. Yeah, a lot of cool people. And I found nowadays when you do go to those public spots, especially with the addicts community that's grown so much, you might have the 1 or 2 Karen dudes on the bank, but most of the people are going to be so fun and so happy to have other anglers around them and new people around them, especially in these given areas. I always say there's a buffer zone with any sort of state land or a hatchery area where you have no room yelling at somebody for getting close to you and fishing, because you signed up to be in that area, and that's what happens there. And if you don't want to be friends with the people that are around you and get to meet new people and talk about fishing and learn new techniques, then you shouldn't go there. You should go to a different spot, upriver or downriver, where you're by yourself. But that can be a huge factor in it, is going to those areas. And I met multiple of my very best friends in my life sitting at a hatchery. And again, you learn a lot about the techniques, what colors work best on that river, what sizes of things,
whether or not there's fish there.
There you go. Most importantly.
Yeah. I've seen some really great comments coming through here too. I think a couple of them went up.
I have been blown away by how awesome everybody I've met at a hatchery has been lately. It has been so cool to see the support and how many people all are loving the sport of fishing right now, and getting out there and doing whatever they can to go have fun,
An old timer once told me back in college 20 years ago at my local December hatchery to fish the fisherman. Says K. Wally. And what does that mean? That means you're fishing against the other fishermen, so when you see what they're doing, you're trying to be different.
Opposite. Yep. I think that's what it means.
Because that's one of the that was another point that I think someone said, being different. And so like you've heard us within the scent realm being different, but also like with just the outright techniques, also just the outright of anything from, you know, adjusting your presentation size smaller to larger, also slowing your presentation down.
Yes.
Like slowing your presentation down in places that are either the conditions are a little bit tough, like the conditions are a little bit like, you know, not as clear water, but also on pressure fish, I think like nothing will get a steelhead strike than a bead that is like slowed down slower than the speed of the actual like kind of prevailing current to get them to bite. And if you see guys just blowing through the hole, if you can put a little more lead or
If
figure
their
out a
bobbers
way,
are straight up and down, make yours lean downriver.
right?
I agree exactly, and it's huge with any presentation. I've seen it with a jig. I've seen it with a steelhead worm.
Oh yeah.
Where everybody's got their bobber perfect. I put mine too deep and drag that bad boy through the bottom, and they pick it up right out of the dirt. You know, it's that slow.
it down.
It creates that little bit of a swim. It goes up and down over the rocks, and it's a huge factor, I think, in bead fishing mostly. But I've seen it time and time again, especially given the river that you're fishing. If it's frog water, not so much. But if you're fishing these fast northwest rivers, you might need to be down and a little slower.
And Caleb, the reason why that guy happened is because he's a one-trick pony and he only knows how to fish that spot. So if he gets screwed out of that spot, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Slowing it down works. Yes, and one thing, I knew who I always noticed picks the most inside, softest line ever when you're trying to fish alongside of him. That guy. I'll always hit like the sweet, like.
I thought he always sent it to the meat of the hole.
No,
before
he'll send it to me,
everybody.
but he'll be the first guy to drag that thing.
Because I'm
with
rowing.
slack water.
Oh, he blames it on
Listen,
me.
hey,
Instantly.
listen, you can give Jordan the first cast through every hole all day, and if he doesn't catch a fish, you're the bad guy.
Oh, nobody's the bad guy.
You made every cast in the hole before me.
No, I was just saying because like if you and I are standing on the riverbank, we'll both do that, but you'll be the first guy. You will be the first guy to like fire it out me and then just ring it back into like the softest, slunchiest, slowest part of the side of the seam and find the big bastard.
I think it's a huge thing, and I explain it in almost every steelhead tutorial that you'll see on here. Your first cast should be made where you can't see bottom. Doesn't matter if that's at your feet. Doesn't matter if it's 30 feet out into the river. Your first cast should always be closest to you and where you can't see the bottom. And that goes a long ways with like what he's talking with Marlin, because a lot of times when we're fishing, we're floating a river or we're in a boat of some sort. And so it's very easy to, in your mind, want to only cast across the river instead of just putting it next to the boat and let it float away. But it's something that you've seen so long and had so much experience with that. I say it all the time. Somebody will mess up a cast that lands close, and I tell them, I've seen crazier things happen. You know, like working that inside and effectively working the hole by starting close will ultimately catch you more fish. That's my big preach with that is, what's to say you couldn't catch a fish right there and behind that perfect rock? Right. And that's where those 10% really start to grow.
One for that behind in the meat, he's gonna freaking blow up. You're gonna drag it through that other one. It's gonna break the hole.
Yep. We've all
not only that, like in a hole that I used to fish when I was a kid, we would stand up on the bank, right? And sometimes the water was so low and clear, you could see a lot of the fish sitting in the seam. And if you watch someone cast over the fish, it would spook every single one of those fish. Like if you cast it over them and your bobber flew over the top, you'd see the whole school just fan out because they could see that flying over their heads.
And if you think that that's crazy, and if you don't think that fish pay attention to crap like that, watch Addicted Alaska 1. Remember that spinner? That the fish, I swear to you, the spinner's coming in the air, and you see the fish react and move up towards it because he's going to eat it. He's not afraid of it. That's the first thing he's ever seen that's that pink, and that bright. And that fish actually moves up before, and that spinner taps water, and he's just, whoa! I mean, he was moving for it in the air.
Yes.
Now, those steelhead there were probably getting spooked by a million presentations blasting over them. So
right.
Adam says people don't realize how much fish are watching the air over the river. And I agree. Like, I think, fish are always looking up.
It's their only predator.
Yeah.
Not in the river. It's up there. Exactly.
Well, unless the sea lions are just...
So we talked about slow presentation. Talk about presentation depth. Tell your story. Because I got something else I want to add to that.
Yes, and so in this year in particular.
Did that happen today?
It happened today. It happened literally today. And throughout the week, we've been fishing very cold conditions. Every night, the river theoretically is getting a little bit colder in a lot of places because it's not, our watersheds aren't thawing out. Thank God. It's awesome. We're about to see some of the most fun steelhead fishing in a long time because we're getting a snow pack. But what
You'll
that
see
does,
some epic shed hunting too.
oh man, it gets the snow packed so that a lot of this low level snow doesn't just wash into the river and blow us out all winter long like we've seen in years past. But in particular, the water's cold. And so what Cameron's talking about presentation depth, what we're talking about earlier about steelhead being the easiest fish to catch in the world sounds very arrogant. But our point is they're a very aggressive fish. They're in a foreign environment. And if you're the first one to cast in front of those bad boys, usually they're going to bite. You do not have to have a lot of skill to catch them. Right. You just have to be there at the right place at the right time. But if you're in an area where there are a lot of fish that do not want to bite, being a more skilled angler and knowing a few little tactics and tricks is going to help you pull a couple of fish out. It won't set you way above and beyond, but you're going to have success. But in today in particular, I'm fishing a very, very small, tight window. And I'm not going to give it away because I want you guys to see the video. But I'm fishing a very tight window. It's in between logs. Like it's about as big as this desk. And I'm literally snuck up on the hole and I'm dropping my stuff in and letting it float by fish that I can see. I can literally see them. I have my bobber and I have my jig. I make 2 casts with jig and prawn. And I'm hiding at this point. I can't see the fish at this point, but I know they're there. I make a couple more casts with the naked jig. I put a little scent on my jig, run it through about 3-4 more times. And then at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I've done expended this. I'm going to just stand up and see what's there. I stand up and I look down, and after a few minutes, these fish start to move back in. And I notice that there actually are some really chrome steelhead sitting there. So I start running my jig through, and I can see my bright pink jig that I was using, my Sink It series, going by these fish and them not react. And I could tell I was going over their head by 6 inches, not by much at all, you guys, but it was not hitting them in the face. They were reacting. They were getting kind of put off by the jig being there, but they weren't biting it. So I immediately start to proceed to move my bobber. Literally, I was moving it less than an inch at a time until I could get into those fish's face. And I knew that to do this because of experiences that I've had in the past with sight fishing steelhead. I get down to that crucial increment, move it once, put a little scent on, catch that, put a little scent on, throw it in. The thing floats down in front of the same fish I'd cast it in a dozen times. Boop, bobber down, pulled the fish out of the log jam. And so it was just, I could have cast it 200 times with my bobber set at that certain depth and never caught one. But making an inch adjustment into the front of these fish in cold water set it apart. It allowed me to pull a fish out. And luckily the camera was rolling. You know, like it was just, and it goes to show even in the hatcheries, like everybody's, oh, how deep's this hole? 8 feet? Yeah, but I'm going to try a run through there with my bobber stop at 3 feet. And then I'm going to go to 4 feet. And then I'm going to go to 5. And then I'm going to work my way down instead of just, and that is that skill level that we talk about that a lot of guides and a lot of very experienced fishermen understand. But if you're a beginner, you don't understand, like, really 6 inches is going to make a difference. But yeah, it really is. You know, it's hard. It's a hard thing to
It makes me wonder, we miss a lot. I wonder how many fish we miss then. Because sometimes we're moving fast.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, gone, next hole.
Yep.
But if you understand that there's fish, like, so he saw that there was fish there. So he knew he was fishing on top of target. Did you ever switch like your size of your jig or your color jig? You switched your scent.
I just got it in their nose.
Right.
And that was the nose.
That's where I think like a lot of people get lost on like really like the best part about fishing these over slide floats with inline weights more than anything else. Because for guys that don't understand and they go to the river and they don't know the depth of the hole. Where were those steelhead sitting in the hole? Probably on the bottom.
Yep, on the bottom.
Probably
exactly.
On the bottom.
Yep.
If you can see them, chances are they're not going to be suspended up there.
Or they're swimming by if they are.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. But they're going to be. How far would you say those mouths are off the bottom?
Yeah, good body's length. A body width of a steelhead off the bottom.
Body width of steel. So that far off the bottom, right? For guys that don't understand, like going into an area with a fixed float versus an inline float, going in there and dragging a jig on the bottom and seeing the tick of this, whereas with an inline float, you're going to have the inline weight with the sliding float and then the jig. It does not, I don't care what kind of float it is, it does not register the same and tell you immediately that your jig is making contact with the bottom. Why is that important? Because when you're making contact with the bottom, steelhead, a real aggressive steelhead, will he pick it up? Oh, hell yeah, he will. Mm-hmm. Like he'll bury his nose in the bottom to grab it. But fish like Jordan we're fishing on, tick the bottom, come up a little bit. Run that run again. Tick the bottom a little more, come up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm not ticking the bottom. Maybe just a touch more. Like getting those fine increments with a fixed float like this. And let me guess.
And those fine increments.
Were you using a fixed float?
No.
You were not using it, but you were watching them.
But you were watching them.
So I guess that could.
I wouldn't have been able to use a fixed float in this sense because it was in so much structure.
Okay.
My weights were falling down, my jig was falling behind it, and then going.
So
in the
you were
spot.
using
So
an
it's
inline.
very
You were
unique.
using the inline float to get it down faster
Yes.
to them, which ultimately, like when
Is
I'm
why you would
deciding,
switch to one.
right, exactly. When I'm deciding if I'm okay, the river's high, I'm fishing big water. That's when I'm using my inlines. If I'm fishing smaller stuff, it's less than 6 foot deep. That's where these guys come in. And you talk about fine tuning a presentation. Play with fixed floats.
Yeah, I agree. And like he said,
They're
those
also
finite
extremely.
adjustments.
I mean, they're just so sensitive. You can see every single. That's part of the reason why we make them balsa. You know, a lot of people have switched to foam floats, and we have stuck with
Cheaper to make.
We have stuck with a balsa float because it is the most sensitive material you can put in the water. You're gonna see if a steelhead licks your thing. You're gonna see it, and that's what I love about balsa wood and a fixed float presentation.
But Randy Gall just says, just learn to drift fish. But Randy Gall, I guarantee
There's a lot of
you,
places
there's
you can't drift
million holes out there that the bobber guys will eat your lunch because you can't drift fish.
Well, I know how to drift fish, and I didn't want to.
I was gonna say,
so.
could you have drift? You might have been able to drift fish.
I'm really good at drift
but I'm
fishing,
just
but I
saying,
didn't
like,
want to.
Understanding that, trust me, like you're talking guys that, I mean, us steelheading and catching steelhead on my home river before like the STS put out the cork bobber issue where they talked about freaking bouncing cork bobbers with bucktail jigs.
I love a good
Bucktail
cork
jig.
bobber,
It's
man.
just
I
like-
love when a guy shows up.
That's
with a
all we did
homemade
was
cork.
drift fish. We had our liters
You know?
full of eggs and 100 liters because that's what we lost in our pencil lead, our pencil pliers, and you're pissed when you lost them.
Yep.
So $20 to buy.
That is my favorite part about these stick
Yeah.
weights. No more freaking hole.
So I see that comment a lot. Do you think fishing with a spinning reel makes us miss a lot of fish?
I think
Because in the last couple
I miss fish when I
episodes,
set the hook
Jordan's
wrong.
missed a lot of fish in the last couple episodes, and there's a lot of guys commenting on the episode saying you wouldn't miss that fish if you had a bait caster
But
or a
why?
center.
I don't think you need to set the hook on fish 90% of the time.
But why? Like why?
Because a
would you-
lot of times,
tell me why.
if you watch our videos and you watch the content, you can see a lot of times with the spinning reels, we'll have the line like laid onto the water, and a lot of times you'll have just not a big bow. You know, we mend quite a bit, but you'll have enough of a bow to when the bobber goes down. By the time you reel up your slack and go to set the hook, the fish is already dropped.
And so you're saying with a bait caster, you're going to just be mending it off the
Right,
thumb. And
you're gonna
gonna
be right to the
tight line,
right to
the
it.
bobber. Okay.
Right to it, and which is the same concept as
Which
a
you
center
can't-
pin, guys. Same concept. They
Right.
say that you're tight to it. So it's really been intriguing me to the point where I bought like 2 days ago. I went and bought a 10.5 foot bait caster, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try float fishing with a bait caster. I noticed Pop Off does it
I was going to say the last 2 times we floated coho, I bring my bait caster for my
because
bobber
we
and
do.
rods.
We miss a lot of fish. If you go back and you look at our episodes, we freaking miss a lot.
Thing is, 90% of the time when I'm setting hook on a steelhead anymore, and I'll say a bold 90%, I don't even close my bail. I call it a center pin hook set.
That's dangerous.
If you're with a bead, if you're fishing with a bead, then
No,
yes.
even with
But
a
if
jig.
you
On
have a
the-
jig
the
on
last
me-
episode when me and Cam and Pop over there, the bobber goes down. I grab my line with my finger because I didn't have too much line on the water. Set the hook. Fish took off. I closed my bail.
And you also hooked that fish about
You know.
from me
Right.
right into that chair away right there.
right, but,
So-
but it's still. In the
but
same
when you
sense.
have a lot of line out on the water, I could see where. But then again, too, like I mend with my finger on the side of my spool.
Yep.
That's what I do too.
I probably do.
But I mean, you just
actually
go
know
look at
for-
our episodes.
I know for a fact I do mend better, and I do keep a tighter line.
With a
bobber
casting.
fishing it with a bait caster.
That's what I mean. I mean,
There's probably some merit. to
there's
that.
no. I mean, we have 200 videos of us steelhead fishing on our channel, and I went through and was watching them last night just to see. And we miss a lot of fish because we're just too late to the hook set.
I don't
like,
think
we're
there's
trying to reel
anything
up.
Such as too late.
Yeah.
A lot of times. That's my opinion.
Why do we miss so many then?
Because the fish wasn't bite good. It was just the fish that you're gonna miss. I miss fish all the time on a
If yours-
spinner,
if
and they
your
destroy the
bobber-
spinner.
If your bobber
You know?
completely drained, you should not. Very rarely do you miss it. You shouldn't.
But that has nothing to do with your reel, I don't think. I
No, it has to do
I
with
lost
the fact
3
that
fish
it's-
this morning, and they just
I
destroyed
know,
it.
but you
and I
can't
just
fish
lost
a
them.
spinning reel the same way you
You know,
can a
that-
bait caster. No matter what, you're always going to have a little bit of line on the water with a belly. There's no stopping it with a spinning reel. With a casting rod, you can
We can
keep
go
it
on
off the
about
whole
this
time.
one for
Well,
forever.
no, because actually it's funny you say that because I actually have this tips for not losing steelhead.
What do you guys think? Everyone out there watching, do you think you would miss less fish we would miss less fish if all of us switched.
There's a
I
fine line.
will say this. I think I
also,
hook
I don't
more
care.
fish with a spinning rod because of the versatility.
Right.
I can't make the cast or fish in the kind of cover that I
was
can with
literally
it.
just gonna say.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't really care who you are.
With the
Like, there's
casting?
casts you can make with
I
spinning rods
fished
that
next
you
to Nick on a creek
cannot
that big,
make
and he could not fish.
you cannot make with bait casters.
Am I wrong? When we
I
were just
agree.
on that
No,
small
there
creek,
are those times.
he was fighting it all day.
There's
I'm gonna
times
try
that
it.
you can.
I think we should try it. I think you should try. I think it's more of a.
Did you say something?
It's a definite preference thing. I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but a lot of beginner anglers out there are not going to be using that setup. I see a lot of people say we should,
Look at dude.
but
I'm
That's
like
right.
the spinning guy. I freaking use all
Right.
spinning rods. I have my entire
call
life.
them- you
I'm
call
just
them balls and
saying.
strikes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like
What'd you call
it
me?
does make sense. Like when I was watching that episode that you just put
Okay,
out.
Levi. Okay,
you
fine.
miss so many
We'll let-
fish, not because you missed a fish. It's because you have too much belly and
There
you
was
can't
a
reel it up
lot
fast enough.
when
There was a lot of line out in that episode.
Yeah.
Which one?
All of those.
In the sled fishing.
the fishing.
Yeah, there's so many
I
times. dude.
only
Are we
really
bobber
hooked
dogging?
one.
Are you bobber dogging?
No, he's just float fishing with jigs.
Yeah, well then tell that to all the bobber doggers.
Dude, you
They've
can
all
see it in
followed
the
their
episode. I
line.
mean, it'll be like.
I even.
But they had a
I
bait
don't even
caster
know
on, so they
anything,
got
that's
it.
what I was
Well, they're purposely dumping line on the water. Yeah.
No, I think it's all preference there, and I would be hard up to go to a river with somebody and go through a straight up competition. You use the same bead, you use the same jig,
Yeah.
and we go fishing. And at the end of the day, if I lost more fish, I'll go ahead and give it to you. But
video.
it was
I don't
these
know,
people
Robert,
love it. It
because-
was fun
I don't know,
watching
Robert,
Jordan.
because I
use
can
them.
guarantee when I was using a center pin, I missed a whole lot more than I would have had I not been using a spinning rod. That's I suck at center pinning. Come on.
Yeah, some of your
Naturally.
tackle is too light for a bait caster.
Yep.
Yeah, I would not want to throw a bait caster with that fixed
There's
float.
some things you just
But one thing I will say,
I mean, taking clients down the river and raft, I couldn't
No,
imagine.
not with a
I mean,
client,
it just wouldn't
but-
happen. So, I mean, I think you're just kind of stuck.
Everyone right now, message Pop Off. And
The other
ask
thing
him
is, too,
spinning reel or
I'm just gonna say this. And the other thing is too, like when we have bobber downs,
Pop-Off already missed.
if you don't,
That's
you-
why I'm saying.
He
keep it
said-
going.
right?
I take
but
it you said something on live feed. My phone is blowing up.
Here's the other thing though too, like if you get a bobber down and you miss it, is it always a steelhead that you were gonna get in the first place?
and Nick
I
Pop-Off.
always ask that because like I know guys that will literally be like, "Oh, I had like 15 bobber downs and I got 2 steelhead today," and I'm just like, "Well, you didn't get 15 bobber downs by steelhead because it just pretty much doesn't happen, even if you are late to every. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so like, but when you miss,
No, and I do
but when
think
you
in the
miss a
episode
bobber
we're
down-
talking about, a lot of the ones he's missed is because they're small trout. He's just missing. They're
right?
small.
But because it's an episode, they're
Whitefish
steelhead.
lately.
Damn it,
Freaking
Every one of them.
whiteys.
Every
The
one of them.
whiteys have been.
Right. Yeah, with
a
a mouth that
heartbreaker
big,
lately.
with a mouth
Yep.
big, right. And they're burying bobbers.
They've
and
got
you're like,
Marlon.
"Oh,
They
I
got
missed
Marlon
it."
about a dozen times this week.
Yeah.
Freaking about killed us with the bobber. And then
Yeah.
4 casts later, he catches the whitefish.
Yep,
It's like,
there you go.
There you
What
go.
else could it be? But if you miss it, it was a 20-pound steelhead.
yep, shove suckers. Exactly.
I think part of it too is what people don't understand, and I just notice myself doing it as I'm fishing through the days. We get lazy.
Mm.
We just get lazy and we get complacent on mending our line, and you've made 100 casts through the day. You're like trying so damn hard to catch a steelhead, and it's like
You would know if you were using a bait caster. Shut up. You're going to catch every whitefish and every freaking cutthroat that's grabbing your bead if you use a bait caster.
Exactly. That's just my filter.
I'm gonna try
That's
it.
my
I tell you
filter.
what, I'm gonna try it. I bought a rod, and I'm gonna
I do.
make
I
it.
mean, every time we go coho fishing, I bring a bait caster for all my bobber rods.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like fishing bait casters.
I'm gonna try it.
There's no question. I don't know,
Definitely
but,
will
and
try.
I still suck and miss. So.
Seen a guy hook a branch about 6 times swearing it was a fish. Exactly. At least you can sleep better once you reel that branch in. I'll tell you that much right now.
What other tips for not losing steelhead? Like, do you think there's...
Fish a fixed hook presentation. And what I mean by that is jigs of any sort. Something where the
Fish
hook is fixed in a
pointed
certain
out.
position the entire time. And I think that is the biggest factor. And today, it even happened to me today. The first
For
2
what?
fish, the last 3 fish
For
I hooked
losing
last
them?
night.
Just for tips for not losing.
Oh,
steelhead.
not losing.
The last 3 fish I hooked last night were on beads, lost them all.
Yep.
Bobber down, swimming away. I reeled down, didn't set hook hard, didn't mess anything up. Came off. So last 3 last night I lost on beads. Last 2 I caught this morning, lost some on beads. I switched to a jig rest today. I didn't care if I hooked another one. I needed to catch one for the video and land it.
Right.
And so I went to that fixed hook presentation.
That's such a good point because if you do want to land a steelhead, freaking bust a jig in their nose.
Yes, a jig or even the worms sometimes too. Though we get short bit on them a lot. Or they grab the tail. You've seen them rip the tail all the way off.
In that episode where we just caught that giant.
Yeah.
Well, you won't see the bobber downs, but
no, you won't. But that was by request. But God, I always won't forget it. Ben's like, I want this first. I want this first.
Ben's,
and he's like, bloop, and Marlon's like, bloop.
I was like, right. Ben's bobber is right here. Mine's right here. His is going down, going. His just completely drains. He sets the hook like it's an 8-foot sturgeon. Bobber comes flying back. My float goes another 4 feet. Bobber
dropped here, gone. Bobber dropped here, 18-pound steelhead. Then he had to go and watch him fight it for 20 minutes.
Oh, that was crazy.
Oh, it's so good. You guys are gonna love that episode. It was a really cool one we just finished.
Yeah, don't miss.
Good, strong, sharp hooks. I think sharp hooks.
Man, we don't focus on that enough. I don't like
bead fishing and for hardware. Yes, I think you are absolutely silly for not getting in the habit. I always tell everybody, we did this once, and you guys had a file, and you bust out a hook file, and you go, "What's this for?" And I said, "Oh, this is for intimidating the dude on the bank next to you." Because you bust your file out, you start sharpening your hook just mid-conversation. It really throws some dudes off.
Like, I don't think if you don't
this guy means business.
If you're a bead fisherman and you don't pay attention to your hook point, you are missing it.
Yep. You're doubling down on yourself for losing fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is also why we made this little hook with the certain point on it.
Yes.
We're not going to get into that, but understanding your hooks and paying attention.
I've been having a lot of good
I
winter steelhead fishing guides messaging me about our bead hook.
Same here.
It's killer.
It's freaking cool.
It's killer, man.
I love it.
Huge shout out to all you fishing guides and all you anglers out there that are using the Addicted bead hook. From the feedback that I've been getting, the 2 years of testing that we put into this thing really paid off.
And probably one of the best features is the fact that this point doesn't just look at a rock sideways and go over to the side.
Yep.
Like, because they can make, I'll say it right now, there are sharper hooks out here than this hook point.
Oh yeah.
Because you can make and manufacture a hook point to where it will like touch you and it will draw blood and you won't feel it. It's that sharp. But the first time that it touches anything, it will also break, no matter what the wire, the metal, or the technique to manufacture it. So you have to find like the right needle point or the right curvature of the point and all that science mumbo jumbo. At the end of the day, what you need a point that can stay sharp, that can go through bone, but that won't just bend over the second time it drags the bottom, which is where your beads are supposed to be fishing.
Yeah. I think that is huge. It's one that all three of us make that mistake. And even as experienced anglers, we don't sharpen our hooks. I saw somebody say Herzog loves a sharp hook. I've seen that guy. Him and one other person in my life is the only two people I've seen sharpen a hook as often as they do. And if you think about, like, they both catch a lot of fish.
And doing what he's doing, I mean, sometimes if you're looking for that trophy steelhead in some of those tougher conditions and tougher waters,
you don't want to miss the one bite you
get. You
don't
want to miss the one bite you get.
That's a fact.
So true.
Yeah, Jordan loves to let his hooks get rusty. Even if you let him borrow your gear, he'll give it all back to you rusty.
One time, I'll hear about that one on my deathbed. All my wee wigglers. They're dead. They're dead because of
my
you.
entire box.
Little's a healer. Aussie. Something. Res dog.
Sharp hooks. Fixed floats.
We get that question so many times. What Little is and how old he is.
How much do you think we could sell his pups for?
It's a little dog breeding.
Little is a healer Aussie, and he is, 5?
I think he's 5 years old now. Yeesh, I try not to think about it. He's in his prime. He's been so cute lately. Just killing it, man. He's just killing it.
Super needle point. That's like what you were talking about, right? Like, I think those ones are pretty needly, aren't they? Those are the ones that
right.
Are
those
really
would be
thin.
the first ones that you better bring your hook sharpener with you.
Yeah, and they will be bent over completely. Yeah, you see them curled in. Addicted puppies.
Addicted puppies. No.
So what else? Yeah, what else really can set it apart?
I have tips for not losing steel.
I think here.
Your point going into a jig though over a bead for a landing ratio is
yes.
Another thing we can talk about. I don't know how much we touched on it. Jordan touched a little bit on it. with scent. But the other thing that we set ourselves apart a lot with is bait. And a lot of guys that fish like jigs or any sort of fixed presentation, they don't fish bait. Like I can't count how many guys I know that fish jigs that never even put a piece of bait on their jig ever. And I won't even go to the river half the time
or
if I'm
shrimp,
fishing. We've used it all. You can tip it with night crawlers, with shrimp, with squid, with spawn sacks. Anything you can do to kind of separate your jig from the other 40 jigs that steelhead just saw.
Coon shrimp.
Yeah, coon shrimp. A lot of times we'll just fish coon shrimp under a float by itself.
Pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, so I think bait is a huge factor in setting yourself apart.
But again, I was gonna try to transverse over from that too. Is using multiple techniques throughout the day and multiple sizes of techniques. It's easy to say that you can stick to your guns and run through the rest of the day, but being versatile and having more than a spinner and a jig in your pocket when you go to the river will ultimately make you a better fisherman and help you catch more fish at the end of the day, because you're going to learn how to fish different techniques in certain holes that you think those techniques don't work. How many times have you been somewhere and watched somebody come up in a big, whatever the situation was, where you're like, oh, this isn't bead water. They throw in a bead and they catch a fish.
A lot.
You know what I mean? And so using that and breaking outside your box and not necessarily being scared to lose gear, I think is a big thing. Being adventurous with how you fish is going to allow you to become more well-rounded. Go ahead.
What if you're not allowed to use bait? Let's try to figure out some other things that people can do. So now, depending on your bait restriction area, sometimes bait is considered bait. Sometimes scent is considered bait. Sometimes scent is not considered bait. So
Oregon and Washington
better understand like where you guys are fishing and your regulations, because sometimes plastic is considered bait, but then I could take a piece of yarn and dip it in egg goo and fish it, and that's not considered bait. Whatever. Understand your rules and regulations. So what about?
But you can have rubber legs on your fly, and that's not bait.
Oh, but you can't have rubber worms.
No, that's too rubber.
Too much rubber.
Too rubbery.
Is there a rubber ratio?
And there's just a lot of bad stuff.
Who thought of that bullshit? Yes.
Some fly fishermen in the desert.
So with that said, size of jigs, colors of jigs. How many nightmare jigs do you run?
Never.
That's the only pattern.
Let's talk about that.
That's the only pattern of addicted jig I have not caught a fish on, and it's the best selling one. But it's kind of more of a pride thing. You kind of did that to me.
Oh yeah, I don't fish a nightmare jig because everybody else does.
Yes.
So I just never do.
But
there's some days in some rivers it just works really good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna deny that there's lots of steelhead caught on that. But unless I'm first down to the river, first down, which usually I'm not. Yeah. So different size jigs though. Trimming your jigs down to even make even smaller.
Yep.
Let's show them
material.
Going to 16th and 32nd ounce presentations.
Scissors.
Also doling out or like fishing more pale colors. You know, a lot of people like a nightmare jig. It's bold. It's got black. It's got blood red. It's got bright white. There's a lot of like heavy contrast in that jig. Where sometimes just like a little subtle pink with like a peachy jig head, like we'll slay them all day long depending on like conditions where you're fishing. Just if you're not getting bit on the nightmare, like don't be afraid to go to like the peach and subtle pink, the more shrimpier colors.
I wanted
something different.
We got to make a chicken shit colored addicted jig. We do. I'm missing that one.
Yeah.
And the we call it the chicken SHIT because it looks exactly the same color as chicken shit, and it catches a lot of
black and white.
Yep.
What are you doing? You thought you were getting the jig out?
I was gonna get one out. I was trying to find one that had a lot of. I've like already cut a bunch of these down.
Yeah, that orange one looks really poofy. Poofy.
This one's really puffy.
Looks pretty poofy.
Yeah, we can talk about how you do that.
And so we try to keep
the
upside down cam.
Top cam.
We do this a lot, where you'll see we try to demand. I mean, we've through working through this process of making all these jigs and coming out with all this. Everyone is hand tied, and it's a brush that goes on to these things. So some of these come a lot thicker, and I'm talking mainly just of the Sinka series jig right now. But a lot of even rabbit fur jigs and different sort of bucktail jigs and stuff come every now and again, with way too much material on it. And so what I'm going to do, what I like to do is I like to make sure that this stuff is all.
Closer to you.
I want to make sure that this stuff is nice and flared out so that I have something to cut on. I don't want to necessarily ever round off the edge off the back of this, but one thing I'm going to do a lot is just give it a little haircut. I'm going to just kind of cut in towards that fabric, cutting out very small strands and taking out some of the body of that jig.
You're not just going this way, though.
Nope, I'm not cutting flat. I want it to have a tapered look to it. I want this jig to be able to still have that really beautiful kind of tapered look, but I want to take out some of that, the big bold body in there and allow a little more light to shine through the jig. So as you see now, pull that stuff off. Take care of maybe a little bit more of this here. But you see the difference in that jig now. How much smaller it is, a little bit more see-through. I can even probably take a tiny bit more of that inside off. A little bit more of the innards. What?
Nothing. Somebody asked real quick too, like, why are the jigs so poofy to begin with, and why are the worms? And I saw someone ask, well, why are the worms so long if you keep cutting them down? It's because, well, you can't make them grow.
Exactly.
So if you're fishing
too cold outside to make the
right. If it's heavier water and you want a big jig, you can always cut a big jig down. You can't make them grow.
So now you can see the difference in what we're looking at there. Smaller profile, smaller jig. Almost looks like that little. That looked perfect. I probably wouldn't have fished it before, but now I would. But there's just certain little tricks, and you can do that same trick with any sort of rabbit fur. Just make sure it's dry, obviously. But trimming that jig down, giving it different mass, of course, switching colors. Adding bait to it. I've seen people use bait to eggs and those bait buttons that you can put on your line. That works really, really good. But just keeping it different, having variables. Going to the river with multiple options for you and the fish. Because if you're not having fun, they're not biting. A piss poor attitude can have you catch 0 fish, right?
Well, that definitely. Jordan cuts his hair like a jig body.
That's how I learned, watching the haircut ladies.
Why no marabou jigs? I want to talk about, why we prefer this.
I fish a lot of them.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with marabou.
It's one of those things, guys, again, like, you want to have options. So I have, like, my Sink It box, and then I have this box that just has a bunch of random...
Maxi pads.
You got some marabou there.
Yeah.
Thin marabou.
Chicken shit.
Yeah.
That's more like
Oh, what is this? What is this garbage? Get that out of there. Oh,
never seen it
Here's
work.
like some Sink Its.
Oh, it's empty. And here's the juice jigs. Marabou. Let's look at an orange versus a Sink It. First off, the material on a Sink It jig, I think, has absolutely more body in the water. It doesn't compress down, even though marabou. But I think marabou probably has a little more movement. Definitely different. Yes. Two completely different.
Where I think that sparkle emulates the movement.
Oh yeah,
it does.
Replicates the movement.
The whole point
I think that is the coolest part of those jigs.
Yep, no question, and you can see that plain as day.
Clint, turn the brightness.
The other thing is too,
like it's not.
I don't think he can't change that there. It's because
I think it's the light.
Yeah. No, it looks way better.
Oh, there we go. Oh, way to go, Clint.
Oh, good job, Clint. The other thing is too is I also think like when you're using marabou versus our material with any kind of baits, I think our material fish better. I think it has more body. It doesn't gum it up. Doesn't make it all nasty.
And the bait gets stuck in the hair a little bit there when it falls off.
But I think that material lends better for using bait though too.
They get the shrimp gets stuck in the jig like the pine needles get stuck in my hair.
This is like a one-time use with wrong types of baits.
Oh yeah, it'll ruin it.
It'll ruin it literally that day.
Yeah.
Those are one-time use anyways, right? It comes on the package.
Those are not. Those are rabbit.
Just kidding.
That big poofy blue.
I've never had one of these marabou jigs lasting more than a day. For some reason.
Dude, those used to, obviously it's a lot of all I used to fish, so of course I used to smash on them, but I used to use a lot of marabou.
You just smash no matter what.
No, not
you
always.
Just smash.
It's January 5th, 2022, everyone, just in case.
Pre-recorded show.
Somebody just remembered their anniversary. Oh shit.
What else?
There's some other ones in there too. There's like some schlappen, or however you pronounce that. I see the ones with the tails coming off.
What'd you call me?
Schlappen.
Oh, those are like a little squid jig.
Schlappen jig. Getting sloppy.
A whole lot of nonsense going on there.
Ooh, wow.
Clinton, what is going on?
It looks like an 80-year-old cross. We call that one the 80-year-old
Go up
cross
now.
dresser.
He turned the brightness down. Looks way better.
The white hair.
Yeah, that
The
okay.
tutu.
The 80-year-old crossdresser.
Clint in 5 years.
Talk about size presentations from one to another.
Oh my God, where did you find that
Don't
one?
be touching those.
Oh, I need that jig.
Which one?
That one. I lost my last one in existence.
Marlon just lost that one too.
Oh, that's a good jig.
That's a good jig.
That's a good jig right there. Damn.
They were supposed to be coming out this year. I approved the colors and everything.
That is one of my favorites. Hands down.
Blends really well to bait.
Mm-hmm.
And subtle. It's got a little blood red in there for good. This is a really good jig to use clear water.
I tried it yesterday a bunch. I couldn't get one on it. Haven't had success on that one yet, but it's more for lack of trying. I've seen it work.
I have on some of the coastal rivers.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. When we were fishing with
It's
Papa,
that size too.
That jig looks really good right now.
Yeah, it's got
Santa Claus.
the right amount of poofy on there.
Santa Claus.
From that fur. Fishing with a little bait, a little sand if you can. Yeah.
Dean's loving Little's back, Little Cam.
Okay. Any last tips, tricks? Kind of ran through the little list. I want to talk a little bit about that. I mean, like why you do that versus that. Okay.
No.
Okay.
That looks like something you use up north.
Strike the record.
That could be like its own deal.
Yeah.
You know? Plus, I don't really want to elaborate.
Anything else on being different? Line sizes? Are you a size down the line guy? You are different, we know. So just calm down.
Just be a little out there.
We know you're out there. We know you are different.
Yeah. I do think size, matching size of line to the conditions. I mean, I want to say it's imperative, but it's not. It's so not. I fished with Marlon all week, and he used 17 pound, and I used 12, and we caught the same amount of fish. When his jigs went through there first, or whoever's was in the boats went through there first, that got bit. You know what I mean? But we were fishing long distances of wild rivers, so it just went to show. When there was a fish, we got them. For the hatchery, I'm gonna go as light as I can. If I'm there to get meat, I'm probably gonna go as light as I can. If that might sound, a little bit to the contrary, but I'm gonna dummy it down so that I make sure I have the most opportunity at catching fish.
When we were fishing in the last episode I was in with you guys, you got a fish first, and Nick got a fish, and I was fishing some bait before you guys, and I broke off, and I was running some 15 pound, and I had some 10 pound. I switched to a 10 pound leader and then caught 2 fish.
Yeah.
Right after that.
And I think a lot of that.
I think that made a difference because I was like, what am I doing? Like, why are they not biting this? Because I know what I put in it, and I know it's damn good for steelhead, and I was just getting snubbed. And I was like, well, I need to size it. I literally sized it down and then caught those 2 fish.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is presentation too. What he was fishing a spawn sack, and it goes hand in hand with beads too. What I was just saying, what I was resorting to, what I was just saying with Marlon, we were fishing addicted worms the whole time, never fishing a jig or any sort of bead presentation. With those presentations that you want to be falling and naturally floating through the water, which we want everything falling and floating naturally, a lighter line is imperative. And
Nathan Callan is literally just saying that. I recently was at a fly shop, pretty in-depth conversation about the importance of using a line thin enough so that the current doesn't catch the line and lift your bait off the bottom.
Hence why we use 65 pound braid and like we're using like a fly line. Same with the reason I use a heavy bumper line, because I want it to stay on the surface. If I go to a 10, 15 pound bumper, it's sinking every time and it's dragging my bob around. It's getting sucked into swirls. And so the same thing's happening if you try to visualize what's going on underwater. If you put a heavy line on a 20 pound leader, it's floating. It's going to
get swept. Yeah. And you're going to have to use more lead or a heavier jig.
In the Midwest was a big one, like we saw.
Yep.
4 pound test with 9 split. I would never put 9 split shots on 4 pound test. It's just dangerous to me. But it's imperative because they need that absolutely natural drift.
And because a lot of times they can't use a slider because they all freeze.
Right, exactly.
Oh, perfect. One giveaway. Oh, and by the way, Marlon has something in here.
I love those.
And to answer your question, still waiting on my Addicted Alaska 3 tickets, checking the mail every day.
Like that.
Marlon, you need to listen to my comment Comment from gentlemen.
The Addicted Alaska stuff is some of it started shipping today. We'll have it out in the next week. We were waiting on some special things that we were sending. We're gonna show you guys kind of what we were waiting on. Here, go to side cam. This is gonna be in the giveaway.
Upside down cam.
Oh!
So this is what we were waiting on, guys. We were trying to get some custom decals made for the Addicted Alaska premiere. So if you ordered Addicted Alaska tickets, you're gonna get one of these tickets or one of these stickers in your package. Get that off there. We're trying to show this.
It doesn't even do it at the right time. It's just so bad.
Can we get that made into a patch?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You need that
That'd be
tattoo.
one of these.
That'd
be one of these.
That'd across your forehead.
Dude, I might the 3 Alaska state symbol with the crown. I'm gonna get that right here, like a tear.
The little one, little mini. Travis, we're on our way. Just walk after the
Travis,
premiere.
we're on
After
our
the
way.
premiere,
Here
walk
it
across the
is.
street and get that tattoo.
Hey, here's the deal. If we get the YouTube channel to 500,000 subscribers, I will get a tattoo of that somewhere on.
I thought you were gonna get a tramp
It'll
stamp.
be like this big.
This has been ongoing.
Oh, dude!
It'll
If
look-
we get
it'll look like-
500,000 subs, I'll tramp stamp.
You
for
said
sure.
1 million, but he's gonna get an addicted tramp stamp.
You know it's going to get to 500,000 at some point in time, and you know these people that watch this, there's stuff
Are
that
not
they bring
gonna
up from
forget.
like 3 years ago, even on this live feed, that these guys don't forget. Tramp stamp 500,000, don't forget it.
People are loving it.
Jordan
too.
said it was the original was 1 million, so we got to.
I thought he said no. He said it. I'm not even saying it.
What?
It was. It was like.
It was not what we're at now. I would not have said that.
Careful.
Dang it.
Fans go back and find the clip.
Never
An
forget.
80x tear on the cheek. Perfect.
I will remember. We will hold you to that. Addicted tramp stamp. Putting it down now. Oh, goodness.
Extra 5%.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right. Well, let's get this
Let's
giveaway.
get out
All
of
right, before we do this
Good
last
life,
little
you guys.
giveaway, guys,
How many
here,
do
Cam, go to
That's
side
fun.
cam.
A
We're
lot.
gonna give an exclusive sneak peek of these. No one's got to see
Bum,
these
bum,
yet.
bum.
Here is the tickets, guys, for Addicted Alaska 3. So if you haven't got your tickets yet to the Washington or the Portland Sportsman Show, we still have quite a few seats available, and we want to make sure as many of you addicts possible show up at these things. So there they are. Sneak peek. Show them the back. Pretty sick. And as you can see, guys, it's 7 to 9:30, so it actually goes almost an hour and a half after the show closes. So we'll be hanging out at the Portland show and the Puyallup show an hour and a half after the show closes. And I've seen a lot of questions. Will Jordan be there? Or will Marlon be there? Or will Kent? We will all.
Nobody asked if I'll be there.
Yes, we will all be there. At Big Dave will be there. Pop Off, Jordan, me, and Cam will all be at every single one of the premieres. So we want to be able to hang out, say hi to you guys. So make sure you guys get to the website, addicted.fishing. If you're up in the Puyallup or Seattle area, go to the Washington Sportsman Show. If you're down in Southwest Washington or over in Portland area, go to the Portland Show.
I've seen questions about the shows themselves. What days, so people out there and they can start letting friends know, what days are we supposed to be at Puyallup? Are we going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Where we actually go? Because we're going to have our booth set up.
I'll be there the whole time.
So then,
Yeah.
Okay.
You will be too.
I'll be there the whole time. We'll be there
Cam,
the
I
whole
don't know what
time,
he's
everybody.
doing. I don't know if he's coming the whole time or the weekend or what his plan is. Puyallup, I will be there all 5 days. Portland, I will be there all 5 days. Cam will be at Portland all 5 days.
Yeah.
Depending on what he's got going for guided trips, he may be there probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe for the weekend. We'll see what happens.
One blowout, and I'll be there all 5 days.
No matter what, he's going to be there Friday for the premiere. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
assuming
no,
he'll
for
probably
sure.
stay Saturday and hang out as well. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
But a lot of us should be at the show no matter what. But
let's be honest, Little is going to be there.
yep,
So
exactly.
that's all you want to see. We get it.
Yeah,
Little will be there.
exactly.
Now you know.
Little the dog.
We'll have Little there as well, so it's going to be a good time.
He's going to be so tired of people touching him.
All right, guys. So
He's
Put him in
gonna
a
be
little,
so
little
weighed down.
box, just looking
He's
at
gonna
it.
be like, oh,
someone's
no.
going to win the 3 Addicted Alaska stickers exclusive. We got you a little Addicted shot glass right here.
What?
Side cam that thing, dude.
I'm bringing this back to Sturge Camp.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'll send you a bunch. You can give to all the guys. Side cam with the shot glass. So someone's gonna
mix
win
our sturgeon scents and stuff.
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
So we're gonna be making spawn tags.
And then we got some more Dave's Tango free weights and some more rooster tails for you. So this is a pretty good little prize pack. We got the rooster tails, we got the Dave's Tango weights, we got some Alaska stickers, and we got a shot glass. Who's gonna win it, Clint?
Pow. Who's gonna win it? Clint? Drum roll, please. And then we get to go out of here and get to bed. Oh my gosh! How did that get selected? Matthew Sokolov. Clint needs a raise. First off, I completely disagree. Second off, I can't believe it.
Clint works like 1 hour a week.
If that.
Okay, 2. If he's editing a podcast, it's
Half
2
the
hours.
time he's on his phone or he's texting his girlfriend.
But I
or he's
will,
asleep.
because I take that back. 'Cause we tell him to be here. If we were actually on time with everything we did, it would be 1 hour a week. No, actually, these live feeds are usually what, an hour and a half, Clint?
Yeah.
So we'll give him 90 minutes. Then if he edits a podcast, you got to add at least a couple more hours in there, which only happens. I mean, let's be honest, we don't really do them that much. We suck.
Recording a podcast.
Don't justify your position.
Coming in here to record Jordan.
And whining the entire time. One of the most important intros we've ever done.
Oh
my God, we gotta hurry. We got to hurry perfection.
Oh my God, here we go. Clint is always late, fire him.
More pineapple vids, Clint.
No, you guys, Clint is very, very well.
He still
we
has
love him. We love Clint.
We'll maybe catch him a steelhead this winter. I don't know.
The tram stamp we won't forget. I love it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And we will see you next week.
Next week.
Wait, we got one.
Oh,
We have
what
one
the-
photo.
One photo.
One
Okay.
photo. You guys
We
didn't
can't.
send.
We already-
You guys did not.
I can't say bye?
Sending photos in.
Okay, only Marlon can end it.
Oh. What if he's not here?
Ah,
there's
sick, dude.
Who is that?
Tony.
Who's that scrub on the right?
No,
GoPro camera.
Joe.
Jeez.
Always walking around recording everything.
What jig? I was trying to spy what jig you had on the rod, honestly. What is that? Zoom in.
It's a worm. It's a worm.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a worm.
Looks like a good time, dude. All right, now can we end it?
All right. Hey, guys, do not forget, Stay Fishy. Go subscribe to the Stay Fishy YouTube channel.
And
January
watch the
26th is going to be the first video, and we're excited for it. So.
Thank you so much, everybody.
It's at 770.
Cool. We'll see 770 you guys later.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you. We'll
Next
see
week.
you next Wednesday.